right?
About 300 degrees, yeah, 270 to 300, 100 meters in the field to your front right.
The tiger is in front of you. The tiger is in front, right in front of you.
Front.
230.
No! Welcome to Controlled Pairs Gaming. I'm Controlled Pairs, and I play the most immersive PC games in the world. Hell Let Loose is one of those, and Sainte Mere Eglise is the latest map to come to Hell Let Loose. I jumped in as an assaulter with a Thompson on the Sainte Mere Eglise map on the Allied side, and I played through a full round. You're seeing some highlights right now, and my general impression of the map is that it's immersive and it's beautiful. The textures feel incredible. The urban fight introduced a whole new type of gameplay mechanic to a game that otherwise really only enjoyed kind of this big field-to-field fighting. The map feels authentic and lived in and real. The structures look convincing and historically accurate. They are fully furnished, and the map is designed in such a way as to entice these really interesting urban engagements. And so in this first round that I played through, I managed to kind of get entangled in a couple little house-to-house fights, got a couple really interesting and really fun close quarters engagements, and started racking up some kills and stringing them together, and then ultimately ended up transitioning from that environment through some fields and hedgerows that we've seen in some of the other maps, and then dodging tanks and moving with my team as a whole on to ultimately win the map. So the map is super fun. It plays really well. Hell Let Loose is in a healthy spot. I'm constantly running, in excess of 60 frames, just buttery smooth, and the game looks absolutely beautiful. It's a tactical shooter, but I wouldn't go so far as to call Hell Let Loose a simulator. And while I enjoy it because it's fun, I also can't become entirely immersed in the experience because it doesn't simulate combat the way that games such as, say, Post Scriptum do. It's still fun. I don't hate Hell Let Loose by any means. I think that the latest update is very well done, well put together, and extremely fun to play. That being said, if I'm going to play a tactical shooter or a simulator, I am almost always going to go to Squad or Post Scriptum over Hell Let Loose. Not because Hell Let Loose is a bad game, but because it's not achieving what I want it to achieve and what I find fun and interesting. And I think Hell Let Loose plays that way, and it's kind of hard to put your finger on it because on the surface you see Hell Let Loose as this big open world massive team fight where coordination and all this sort of stuff is critical. The reality is the mechanics lend themselves to mass concentrations of friendly elements moving in swarm from objective to objective. And I think the reason that is because of the spawn mechanics, because of the way the spawn systems work, both at the squad and at the team level. I don't think it's broken. I think it's deliberate, and I think it's by design. Because when you spawn in mass and move in swarm, you end up in these giant engagements that are just outright bloodbaths that are really, really fun, but they don't leave a ton of room for fire and maneuver. Whereas in games such as, say, Squad or Post Scriptum, they're less forgiving. You find yourself isolated or with a team or a squad or a section size element more frequently, maneuvering against a similar sized enemy force in a more dynamic environment. Hell Let Loose has more likelihood to devolve into a meat grinder than, say, Post Scriptum or Squad, whereas those other games they reward you for maneuvering and for getting on the enemy's flank. You're still going to be able to pull a flank in Hell Let Loose, but it is much more difficult to do so. Coordination between members of the same team and squad seem to be much more difficult to achieve, but you're going to get in a lot more gunfights. You're going to get a lot more kills. You're going to see a lot more action, and if you just want to jump into a World War II game, enjoy some massive battles, and have some really compelling gunfights, Hell Let Loose is a great place to do that, and it's a place that I'll continue to come back and enjoy from time to time. That being said, the immersive experience that I'm looking for in my favorite games is more closely replicated in Post Scriptum, and for that reason, I will very likely spend more time in that game than Hell Let Loose. If you haven't had the opportunity to try Hell Let Loose yet, I absolutely encourage you to do it. Go buy the game, and I don't think that you'll regret doing that. And if you're enjoying the content that you're seeing from this channel, I hope that you'll consider joining us in my Discord server, where I regularly lead squads in Squad, Post Scriptum, and Hell Let Loose, and all sorts of the most immersive games on the internet. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.